Have you ever noticed how comparison quietly becomes an obstacle to success? You may be working hard. You may be improving every day. But the moment you start comparing yourself to someone else, something changes. Your focus shifts. Instead of improving your own path, you begin measuring your progress against theirs. Slowly, comparison brings doubt, pressure, and frustration. And many people lose not because they lack ability, but because they spend too much time watching someone else's journey. This is a story about a boy who had always been the best in his school, until one day, someone else arrived, and he discovered how comparison can quietly disturb even the strongest confidence. In a small school, there was a boy named Yash. Yash was known by everyone, not because he was loud or popular, but because he was always first in class. Every exam result looked the same. At the top of the list was one name, Yash. Teachers praised him often. "Very good work, Yash," they would say. During assemblies, his name was called again and again. Students clapped, and Yash slowly grew used to that feeling. At home, his father would smile proudly when he saw his marks. Neighbors would say, "Your son is very intelligent." Yash loved hearing those words. Being the best had become part of who he was. One morning, the class teacher entered with a new student. "Class," she said, "we have a new student joining today." Her name was Geeta. The teacher smiled while introducing her. She was the top student in her previous school. Some students clapped politely, but Yash looked at her quietly. It was the first time the teacher praised someone like that in front of the class. For the first time, that praise was not about him. Yash felt something strange inside. Not anger, but discomfort. A few weeks later, the monthly exam results were announced. Students waited quietly. As usual, everyone expected one name, Yash. But the teacher paused and said, "First rank this month, Geeta." The class became silent. Then the teacher smiled and said, "Everyone, clap for Geeta." The classroom filled with applause. But Yash sat still. He stared at the result sheet in disbelief. He checked the marks again. For the first time in a long time, he was not first. Some students who had always been jealous of Yash whispered to each other. "So the king finally lost," one of them said quietly. Yash heard those words, and they stayed with him the whole day. That evening, Yash came home unusually silent. At dinner, his mother noticed. "What happened today?" she asked. His father looked at the result sheet and said calmly, "You still got very good marks. It's okay if someone else comes first sometimes." But Yash was not thinking about marks. He was thinking about Geeta, about the applause, about the moment when everyone clapped for someone else. For the first time, he felt something he had never felt before: comparison. A few days later, the teacher made an announcement. "Next month we will have a science exhibition. Each student can prepare a project. The best project will represent our school." Yash immediately felt determined. "This is my chance," he thought. "I will prove I am still the best." But something had changed in the classroom. Students whispered again, "This time Geeta will win. Yash will be second." Those words stayed in Yash's mind. Slowly, his focus shifted. Instead of thinking about his project, he started thinking about Geeta. Yash began observing Geeta. What project was she preparing? What idea was she working on? How could he make something better than hers? Instead of building his own idea carefully, he began trying to beat hers. At home, his room became messy with papers and half-finished ideas. Nothing seemed good enough. "This is not better than Gita," he kept saying. Days passed like this. But instead of improving his project, his mind became more restless. Outside, two neighborhood boys were waiting. On a table stood a small empty jar. Grandfather showed them a large leaf. "Let's play a small game," he said. "You must fill this jar with water. But you can only carry water using this leaf. Whoever fills the jar first wins." Yash smiled confidently. "This will be easy," he thought. The pond was a short walk away. Yash filled the leaf with water and started walking quickly. But halfway back, he saw another boy ahead of him. He began walking faster. When he reached the jar, he noticed something. His leaf had lost a lot of water. The other boy's leaf had lost water too. Yash ran back to the pond. He filled the leaf again and hurried back. But when he arrived, he saw something surprising. One boy had already filled nearly half the jar. How did he do that? Yash wondered. When the jar was finally full, Yash had not won. Frustrated, he threw the leaf down. "I can't even win this silly game," he said. Grandfather smiled gently. "Did you notice something?" Yash stayed quiet. Grandfather said, "Every time you walked, you were watching someone else. But the boy who won only watched his leaf. He focused on his own task. And that is why he succeeded." Yash stayed quiet. Grandfather then spoke slowly. "In life, we don't study or work hard just to defeat someone else. We learn and work hard to build our own future. When your mind is busy trying to beat others, you forget to improve yourself. Everyone has their own path. If you keep looking at someone else's path, you will lose focus on your own. You don't need to be better than someone else. You only need to become better than you were before." Yash suddenly understood something. For the past few days, he had not been thinking about his science project. He had only been thinking about Gita. He stood there quietly for a moment. Then he walked back home. That evening, Yash went to his room. For the first time in many days, his mind felt calm. He cleaned his messy desk and picked up the notebook where he had written his first science project idea. It was the idea he had started working on before all the comparison began. He opened the pages slowly. This time, he was not thinking about beating anyone. He was only thinking about improving his own work. And with a peaceful heart, Yash began working on his project again. Many people believe the biggest obstacle to success is failure. But sometimes the real obstacle is comparison. The moment we begin measuring our progress against others, our mind becomes restless. Instead of focusing on our own work, we start watching someone else's journey. And slowly, our energy shifts from building to competing. Comparison creates pressure. It makes us feel late, even when we are improving. It makes us doubt ourselves, even when we are capable. And often, it takes away the joy of learning and growing. The truth is, every person walks a different path in life. Some people move fast. Some people move slowly. But success does not come from racing others. It comes from steady focus on your own work. When your attention stays on your path, your progress becomes stronger. But when your eyes are always on someone else, your mind loses direction. So if you want success in life, remember this simple lesson. You are not studying, working, or growing just to defeat someone else. You are doing it to build your own future. The moment you stop comparing yourself to others and start focusing on your own path, your journey becomes clearer, and your growth becomes real. Because in the end, the real competition in life is not with others. It is with the person you were yesterday.